Welcome to Amazing Women, where we discuss all things that help today's women balance career, home, and personal growth. I am Adenike Adekpito, and today's topic is one that's absolutely crucial for both personal and professional success: effective communication in workplace and at home. In today's fast-paced world, clear and effective communication can make or break relationships, whether it's with colleagues at work or family members at home. It's not just about what we say, but how we say it and how well we listen. Joining us today is Princess Bashira Giwa. She is the CEO of Ladid Kitchen, an entrepreneur, a writer, and a philanthropist. She is also a mother, a self-taught chef, a culinary teacher, and a hospitality and tourism business consultant. Thank you for being with us today, ma'am. We are excited to hear from you.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Research shows that 93% of communication is non-verbal. This includes body language, tone of voice, and facial expression, which are often more essential than the words we say in conveying a message. Effective communication isn't just about the words we choose. How we deliver them and the non-verbal cues we send are key to ensuring we are understood, both at work and at home. Communication is key in every areas of life. Why is it important to have communication both in the workplace and at home?
Thanks for having me again, Adenike. I would say communication is very, very important. It enhances collaboration, teamwork, and productivity. So if I'm not understanding you, I won't be able to respond to you well. So that's the first thing we need to put into consideration. Even at home, you know that there's a difference between communication and comprehension. You can communicate to people and people may not comprehend. And every human being has different levels of comprehension. So the way you would understand me is different from the way another person will understand me. So we also have that in the home. The way child A will understand your instruction is different from the way child B will understand your instruction. So as a mother or as a boss, as a leader, you need to be able to psychoanalyze and know different comprehension levels of everybody around you. That's what makes us mothers, because we are empathic beings, and that gives us more linear to be able to understand people and people better. So, there are different kinds of communication. This is the communication we are communicating right now, face-to-face. It could be through emails. It could be through, now they do Zoom meetings. There are a lot of companies that do not need their staffs to be physically present in the company for productivity to happen. So how do they communicate? They communicate through Zoom meetings, group chats, WhatsApp messages, emails. But do you know the reason why there's a video Zoom meeting? Is to be able to analyze body language. There are different kinds of communication, like I mentioned earlier. So there is body language, there's facial expression. Like a Yoruba saying says, "Mele o lako o labo." For instance, if you have a child and they did something wrong, when you say, "I'm sorry," you do not mean it. I'll tell you, "Come back here. Why are you so?" Even my staff, when you tell me, "I'm sorry," I'll ask you, "Why are you sorry?" I do not need you to tell me, "I'm sorry." I need you to not repeat what you've done. So there's a difference between I'm sorry, oh, I'm really, really sorry, I won't do that again. If I tell you that, which one would you pick? I'm sorry. That means you're not sorry. But, oh, I'm really, really sorry. I didn't understand. I won't do that again. That is intentional and that is genuine. So there are different kinds of ways to communicate, both at home and at work. And as women, we have a lot on our shoulders because of being an empathic being and because of the motherly nature. There's no how as a woman, we always have these motherly traits in us. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. How can poor communication impact professional relationships at work?
Okay, thank you, Nike. If you do not communicate well, we can't get an outcome. There will be no productivity because you're not being understood. I know there are some people that are not good communicators. And good communicators cannot be good bosses. You need to be able to communicate to your subordinates and your colleague for there to be productivity and for there to be collaboration, because a workspace is a collaborative entity. And when I do not understand what you're telling me, how can I give you what you want? So it is very, very important for a boss to have a to be communicative, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yes, it is very important. So does that answer your question?
Yes, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
How do you handle difficult conversations or conflicts in a professional setting?
Okay, like you said in my profile, I'm also a hospitality and tourism business consultant. And we all also run courses and trainings for establishments. And part of this training is there's conflict resolution. There are some, every boss in an establishment needs to know how to calm conflicts in the workspace, because there is no how there won't be politics, envy, because there will be someone that does the work better, there will be someone that is the staff of the month or staff of the year, and there will be envy, there will be jealousy. And the only way for a boss to solve that kind of scenario is to be unbiased. Now, sometimes I do train that you may not know there is a conflict if you do not look at the body language of your staffs and facial expression. So if you're a boss that is always on his own, in your own head, just doing, I'm the boss, I'm the boss, I'm the boss, you would not know that some A is not in good terms with B. You would tell, hey, go tell B to do this. And A would send B. And B will come and tell you that C told me you are calling me.
Yeah.
Instead of A and B to say, A said you were calling me. That is where, those are the little things for you to notice that there is a problem. Now, as a boss, how do you solve this situation? I've been in a scenario, I've consulted for a company before that the boss did not know how to handle the conflict in his company. He had 200 staffs. I stopped consulting for them. I had to be called back to come and resolve the conflicts. What was happening? There was a beef amongst the staffs. And what was the reason for the beef? The boss promises something to he and promises the same thing to B. And when he called me back, how do I resolve this? I told him, do not have separate meetings with your staff. Do not have a biased relationship or individual or personal relationship with individual staff. If you want to promise everybody something, promise them when everybody is present. What you're doing, you're being malicious also as a boss because you don't want to be held accountable. And you're causing conflict in your establishment. So those are some examples. I think when you're trying to communicate to people, you also give them examples. I'm also a trained teacher, so when you give examples, the lesson gets stuck. It sticks to your brain because you're not being theoretical, you were being practical. So when I train, I'm more of a practical teacher than a theoretical teacher because I would show you how it is done and how it is not done. And if you behave this way, what is the consequences of your behavior? Because every action has consequences, either positive or negative. I hope that clears everything.
Yes, that sinks in. Thank you so much. We've already touched on the importance of communication in workplace. But when we come back, we'll dive deeper into how to communicate effectively at home and build stronger personal relationships. Stay with us. Welcome back to Amazing Women. Before the break, we discussed workplace communication. And now we are shifting gears to talk about effective communication at home. Something that's just as important for maintaining harmony in our personal relationships. What are the common barriers of effective communication at home and how do we overcome them?
Adenika, it's tough being a mother, especially when there are no more babies. And you know, there's a saying called tough love. Sometimes solution to some issues at home is not communicating at all. I call it silent treatment. Because when I tell you to do something and you feel you have your opinion, I as a mother, I'll tell you, I'm not Gen Z. I'm older than you. This is my instruction. If you're not following my instruction and you feel you're now an adult, then I'll leave you. And there's also a Yoruba adage that says, "Wọ́n ní kọ́mọdé má dẹ̀tẹ̀, tó bá ti lè dá igbó gbé." Meaning that once a child feels that they are matured enough to make decisions on their own, you leave them to go learn from the decisions they've made. I was trained that way, and I felt I turned out well. Yes, I did. So, because being a mom to a Gen Z, I'm telling you, it's not easy. Sometimes you sit down as a mom and cry. And at the point, I thought I was the only mother going through this. And talking to other Gen Z moms, I saw that we are all in the same boat. The only solution to our problem is just to pray for our children. So sometimes not communicating is also a communication. That's what I'm trying to say. With your spouse, sometimes living is not every time a man wants to talk. Men are beings that are more in their head than voicing out their emotions, especially men that are not in touch with their emotions. So it's okay to leave a man to be. When you communicate and you're not getting the response you want, you can leave, and if he's listening, he would come back to give you your answer. And also as a wife or as a mother, you should be able to listen too. You should be a very, very good listener. And you should also be your children's best friend. Let them be able to tell you everything, not being scared of saying, if I heard of a news that a child be two children misplaced the money their moms used in sending them an errand, and they went to kill themselves because why? Their mom is going to kill them, so it's better they kill themselves. They committed suicide. I saw it on the internet, and I was like, my response was, I hope the mother is happy. Because mothering, yes, is not easy. But as also a mother, I tell my children, yes, I'm your best friend. I'm also not your friend. I'm your mother. You should be able to balance those roles. You should be able to switch from being the best friend, because I want you to be able to tell me your pains. And I want to be the first person you come to when you're worried or you're sad or there's something happening. And I'm your mother. When I need to set you right, I'm not going to feign on it. I'm not going to, no. So I think you understand the concept.
Yes,
I'm trying to.
I understand.
Sometimes communication is good. Sometimes being silent is good. But it's good to be a good listener. You listen to body language. You listen to voices that whispers, because children whisper a lot. You should be able to know how to sneak to where they would not know you're there, to be able to listen to some things, for you to know the truth of some matters. Because there may be someone in the house bullying them or maltreating them while you're not there. And they are scared to tell you. So be a very, very good listener.
Thank you so much, Ma. Do you have any tips for women who struggle to communicate with their partner or family members?
I'll say one thing. Every mother, every woman, you're a queen. You're doing well. It's not easy. And cut yourself some slack. Sometimes not communicating is also a communication. And just leave the rest to God. I'm a very, very spiritual person, so I believe God has hands in everything that happens to us in life. And leave everything to God. Do your best and leave the rest to God. But also be a good listener. I think there are tips that I've been dropping in every questions you've asked me. I'm sorry for dropping one Yoruba words or adage or the other.
It's fine.
There's what we call kéèyàn fi ọ̀rọ̀ ṣírò ara ẹ̀ wò. Before you do something to someone, put yourself in their shoes. That will make you an empathic human being. Because I believe every woman should be empathic. Don't be wicked. I think that says everything that I need to say.
What are some active listening techniques that can help us to understand other people's point of view better?
Okay, one, you listen well. Try not to interrupt people when they're talking to you or when they're trying to communicate with you. I've also mentioned empathy.
Yes.
You empathize with them, putting other people in your own shoes. It will make you respond better to what they're trying to communicate with you. Then also, if you do not understand something, ask for clarity, clarify. Then ask open-ended questions, give feedback, response to questions that are being asked of you. I think with that, you are equipped enough to be a good listener and comprehend with whatever is being instructed to you, because there's a difference between communicating and comprehension. I can communicate and you may not be able to comprehend. So there are two different things. So, but by actively listening to all and doing all these things that I listed, you be able to comprehend well.
Thank you so much. So, in order to avoid misunderstanding, yes, we understand that. Thank you so much for that. We are exploring communication at home and how to overcome common barriers. But there is more to learn. After the break, we'll talk about non-verbal communication and how it plays a significant role in both professional and personal settings. Don't go away.